everyone, I hope your day is going well. For our third topic in our mental wellness series, we'll be talking about substance use and addiction. I'm Pinky and I'm the program coordinator at Migrant Worker Community Program, and I'll be covering this video in English. If you want to watch this video in Spanish, Lisbeth will be covering for our Spanish audience. This video is brought to you by Canadian Mental Health Association and Migrant Worker Community Program. You can watch all of these videos on our YouTube channel at any given time, whenever you have time, and you can also watch them on our Facebook, which is again Migrant Worker Community Program. Today we will cover what is substance use and abuse, addiction and the warning signs, what causes substance use, risks and harms associated with it, getting help, strategies for coping, and resources. First, let's discuss what are substances. A substance is a drug of abuse, a medication, or a toxin that is capable of producing harmful effects when ingested into the body. Some examples can be alcohol, cannabis, cocaine, sedatives, caffeine, tobacco, etc. Substances make people feel good. When using substances, dopamine levels increase, which make us feel on the top of the world. This is because they encourage the brain to overproduce a naturally occurring chemical, dopamine. This is a chemical that makes us feel good, producing a sense of euphoria, happiness, and pleasure. When we stop consuming substances, we may not feel good anymore because the brain begins to have a difficult time producing dopamine on its own. This makes us want to keep using substances because we want to continue experiencing those good feelings again, or because we want to mask negative emotions like sadness, anxiety, anger, etc. Eating, exercising, meditating, and listening to music are some activities that produce dopamine naturally. Whether it's sipping a glass of wine before a social gathering or stepping out to vape during a break, it's common in our culture to use substances like alcohol and drugs for recreation, relaxation, and social connection. Alcohol is a part of every social occasion, from celebrations to casual get-togethers, because alcohol is socially accepted. It's easy to forget that it's an addictive drug. There is no problem with consuming legal substances as long as you are in control and consuming them in moderation. So what is substance use? Substance use refers to the recreational use of substances that alter your mood. All substances have mood-altering effects. They stimulate the brain to feel good, at least temporarily. This is why people use substances to manage excessive stress or to cope with difficult feelings such as sadness, anxiety, anger, and negative emotions such as low mood, loneliness, or worry. In the beginning, substance use is often fun. As time passes, you may start to realize that you are having trouble controlling your substance use. This is where it becomes dangerous. Although some substances aren't dangerous in moderation, they can lead to severe harm over time, especially with excessive use. Now that we have covered substance use, let's discuss substance abuse. Substance abuse is a regular pattern of harmful use of any mood-altering substances such as alcohol and drugs. If a person uses a substance very often, chemical changes happen in the brain and body, which can make it extremely difficult to stop using. We drink for all sorts of reasons: to help us unwind, to have a good time, to join in with friends, or because we think it will help us feel better if we are worried, depressed, or lonely. If you're drinking to feel better, alcohol can take a heavy emotional toll on you. It can increase problems like depression and anxiety. It also takes part in self-harm and in more than half of all suicide. This is why substance use needs to be monitored closely so that it doesn't lead to abuse. Now that we have discussed substance use and substance abuse, we'll be talking about addiction. Addiction is a common term used to describe when a behavior that is out of control, usually in a harmful way. The meaning of it can vary depending on culture and the person experiencing it. But alcohol makes you feel great. Yes, it can temporarily, especially after one or two drinks. Many people drink alcohol because it makes them feel better, relaxed, happy, confident, especially in social situations. Because alcohol removes our inhibitions, it can feel like it is a stimulant. However, alcohol is a depressant. It slows down the brain and central nervous system. This is why after you feel the high, you will inevitably feel low, even if you think it's helping. Self-medicating or using substances to feel better is actually not effective, and it is especially harmful if you have mental health problems such as anxiety, depression, etc. If you're relying on alcohol as a remedy to feel better and escape negative emotions, you need to try and tackle the underlying reasons for your drinking and explore other ways of dealing with them. It is important to understand the causes of substance abuse, especially when working toward recovery. Here are a couple of causes for substance abuse: trauma during childhood or adulthood, unresolved emotions from the past, experiencing an injury or a serious illness, impulsivity, recklessness, family history of addiction or addictive personality, chasing the high feeling of euphoria, false feelings of control, negative influences, friends and family, trying to escape mental illness problems, isolation, feeling lonely and hopeless, family conflict or financial issues, coping with death of a loved one. Migrant workers and substance use. Moving away from home, your loved ones, and what you're used to brings some great psychological distress. Migrant workers have many things going on internally, and this may result in desire to turn to alcohol and drugs to cope with adjusting to a new country and a change in lifestyle. Migrant workers may go through social isolation, living with strangers, mistreatment by others, migration experiences, adjusting to new employment, cultural shock, adjusting to differences, peer pressure from those around them, previous use of substances, living away from home, friends, and family members. Even if your circumstances are not ideal, there is always light at the end of the tunnel. You are strong, and there is always hope. Recognizing the signs of substance abuse can be the first step towards recovery. So these are some of the warning signs of substance abuse. As we discussed, if you recognize these signs, it is time that you may want to ask for help. Uncontrollable cravings, loss of control, continued use no matter if it is problematic, consumed by thoughts of substance, irritability without it, developing a high tolerance and over drinking, feeling unhappy when sober, reckless spending, losing friendships or family members due to drinking, hiding drinking habits from others, losing your job or becoming more in debt, being defensive if others comment on drinking habits. When substance use starts to have serious negative effects on your life or reach a point where you feel unable to function without alcohol or drugs, then it may be worth questioning your relationship to the substances and the serious impacts of continuing excessive use. When you lose control, alcohol becomes the boss. You say you'll just have one drink, but you end up having more. You try to stop drinking, but you can't. You know it's causing problems, but you continue to drink. If all this sounds familiar, it is probably time to take action. Harms and risks of substance use range from mild to severe. They may vary depending on the substance. These harms may include missing work because of substance use, having tried cutting down or stopping unsuccessfully, needing a substance to have fun, lying about or hiding substance use from friends or family, repeated behavior while under the influence of a substance that could cause harm to you or others. For example, illegal activity, unsafe sex, etc. Not being able to just have one drink or persistent binging, using a lot at one time, building an increased tolerance to the substance, needing more of it, spending a lot of time planning how you will get and use the substance, avoiding situations or activities where no substances will be present. Aside from harms of substance abuse, there are also several risks to keep in mind. Some of the physical risks are an overdose can cause serious and sudden physical or mental damage or death. Alcohol can cause liver damage. Substance use during pregnancy can harm the fetus. People who inject substances with used needles can get viral infections such as hepatitis or HIV/AIDS. Driving under influence can affect a person's attention, reaction time, and ability to judge distances, which can increase the risk of death or injury to you or others. People who use illegally obtained substances can't know for sure what they're consuming. Some drugs may be mixed with other drugs or chemicals. Substances can affect coordination, the senses, memory, and judgment, which can lead to other risks. Some of the emotional risks can be substance use can get in the way of developing and using healthier coping strategies to deal with difficult feelings, such as sadness, anxiety, anger, etc. Substance use can sometimes make emotional difficulties worse in the long run and can be especially harmful to people dealing with mental disorders such as depression and anxiety. Some substances can cause short-term confusion, anxiety, mental disturbances, learning problems, and or memory loss. Some of the social risks are substance use may cause stress on persons' relationships or conflict with their parents, their partners, their friends, co-workers, etc. Substance use can interfere with a person's ability to function at their best. Because some substances are obtained illegally, substance use can be associated with violence and crime. Substance-related convictions may result in a fine, prison sentence, and a criminal record, which can affect future plans, including jobs and travel. If you're battling addiction, getting help can seem scary, and you may feel guilty for your substance use. We want you to know that you shouldn't feel ashamed to ask for help. This is always the first step towards recovery. Living away from home and family can be tough. Isolation and anxiety about living in a foreign country, among other factors, can make migrant workers more at risk for alcohol dependence. Being in denial can be common because of the negative views attached to alcohol and drug use. Be honest with yourself. The first step towards not using and abusing can be recognizing that you need help. Even if you feel it's pointless, you are taking the step in the right direction. You have got this. Here are some strategies for coping. Be honest with yourself and others. Direct your attention towards healthy strategies when you experience a craving. Remind yourself you are in control. Have someone who can keep you accountable. This can be extremely helpful during weak moments. Keep a daily journal and a gratitude list. Focus on the positives. Develop a strong support network with people going through similar experiences. Avoid high-risk situations where you are likely to relapse. Help others who are suffering. This can help you develop a sense of purpose. Recognize that help is available. Seek it. You are worthy of it. You may have different strategies to manage your cravings, and that's okay. Find what works for you. Practice different joyful activities to replace substance use. Consider asking for professional help. Practice resilience. Stay tuned for our video, which is coming next week. I will be exploring coping in more detail. Struggling with substance use is extremely difficult. Completely stopping use is not easy. Addiction is not a choice. If you're in immediate danger or need urgent medical help, please call 911. Now we have a couple of resources for you which are catered specifically towards substance use and abuse. So we have the Canadian Center on Substance Use and Addiction, and for more information you can go on their website and find resources or find some things which work specifically for you. Again, we are always a resource migrant worker community program. It's okay not to be okay. Your mental health matters. Please ask for support. Contact us via this phone or email, and we are always ready to support. You can also reach out to us on our Facebook, on our website, migrantworkercommunityprogram.com, and we will definitely get back to you. Some of other resources are Alcoholics Anonymous for Windsor, Essex, Wellness Together Canada, Connects Ontario, and they have services in more than 170 languages, VCHC substance use support, and immediate crisis support. You can text wellness to this number and then you can get your immediate crisis support. Windsor Essex Community Health Center Substance Use Support in Leamington. They are available on site at 33 Princess Street, provides one-on-one confidential counseling, peer support groups for substance use problems, steps, support through education, prevention, stability counseling, available in various languages as well through an interpreter. You can call this number. Of course, Canadian Mental Health Association is always a resource as well. Workplace outreach available on site at various workplaces, provides information and referrals to all resources, one-on-one confidential counseling, mental health and well-being workshops. Hub Connect app, download the Hub Connect app on your smartphone. Information about local resources for healthcare, food, community health, community events, health and safety. It's specific to migrant workers and temporary foreign workers. All of our videos can also be found on there. Again, you can scan this code and download the app on your phone. As always, if you have any questions, please don't be shy. Ask your questions in the comments below. Ask your questions on Facebook. Ask your questions on Instagram. However you want to reach us will be linked in the description. Thank you so much for listening. Feel free to send us your questions and your comments regarding this topic on Facebook, Instagram, our website, migrantworkercommunityprogram.com. Thank you so much for listening.